Hello and what is going on? I'm El Director, this is El Director Vision, and you're watching Indie Rebel, Hollywood effects without the Hollywood budget. Today, I want to talk about something that's very, very important to the filmmaking process, and that is storyboarding or pre-visualization. This is something that I have not started to do really in depth until fairly recently. In the past, on 3 feature films and who knows how many number of short films, I would write a script, and that was always good enough for me. I knew writing the script pretty much how I wanted to shoot it. But lately, now I find myself starting to work more with other people and really needing to communicate my vision as far as what I want this film to look like and that kind of a thing. So I've started storyboarding, especially key sequences, whether they be action beats, whether they be things that are visual effects heavy. I've started doing my storyboards. Now I do have a little bit of an artist background, so I can draw, but in order to make anything that actually looks decent and will convey the idea more to my cast and crew takes a lot of time, and takes me in particular a lot of time. I'm not a very fast artist. I can sketch out my stick figures, and do that pretty well, but when I go to flesh it out a little bit more so it looks nice and it's easier to see, it just takes forever. So what are we to do? What's a way that will allow us to convey our vision quickly, will have it look good, and more importantly, something that you could do on a whim? And I actually, after digging around, found a solution, and that happens to be the sponsor of this video, and that is Previs Pro. Previs Pro is an iOS app that lets me as the director really just play and be creative and have fun. You start by creating a new project. You set up what kind of camera you want to be using. Are you shooting Super 35? Are you shooting full frame? Are you shooting some other thing? What's your aspect ratio going to be? Are you shooting 2:4:0? Are you shooting 16:9? Are you going crazy and shooting 4:3? Whatever your aspect ratio is, set that up in there as well. Now you can either import your script to get all your characters imported and all your scenes, or you can start making it from scratch. You go through and you choose what time of day the scene is. You can write down some notes about kind of what the scene is going to be about. And then you go through and start creating your shots. As you create your shots, each shot is numbered, and you start with this default shot of having 2 people, a camera, and a light. That's it. And maybe that's enough for you to get started. You might be able to take the 2 people and the camera and the light and really convey your scene, but it gets so much more awesome than that. You can take your people, you can customize the snot out of them. You can change their shirt color, you can change their pants, their shoes, you can change their facial expression. So if you're doing a close-up on somebody, you can get the whatever face you're looking for. You can select from a predefined set of poses to get your actors kind of in the right position that you're looking for. You can change the focal length of your camera and really just build up your scene. On top of that, because this is a 3D app, you can also build out your sets. And if you're not finding any of the basic objects that you need, this will also connect to the internet, and it lets you download 3D models from Sketchfab, which is like really, really cool. So when I needed window blinds to go ahead and do some previs work for my last short film, Who's There, I was able to go onto Sketchfab and download window blinds, and there they were. I have a canoe now, and so if I want to use that in a movie, guess what? I found the canoe prop on Sketchfab, downloaded it for free, and there it is right there in Previs Pro, ready for me to work with and play with. So that's really cool. So you start building out your sets. Now you go through and you light your sets because it's all in 3D space. So I can put my light over here, I can change the color and the intensity. You've got area lights and you've got spotlights that you can play with, so a lot of versatility there. Move your camera around, set it up exactly the way you want. Switch into 3D mode in order to raise your camera up and down and tilt it and do all that crazy stuff. Really just, again, playing and getting creative. You're getting real-time feedback off to the side, showing you exactly what your shot is going to look like. And then when you're done with this, when you've got your shot just the way you want, you add a new shot to your scene. It just takes your previous shot and duplicates it because you're in the same scene. You're not going somewhere else. You quickly move your camera to the next position. Boom, there's your next shot. Where it really begins to get fun is when you want to take things to the next level. Because you're doing this on your iPad or on your phone, we now get to play with AR. That stands for augmented reality. And this is probably my favorite feature of this app. I can actually go out to location, bring in my characters and any vehicles or additional props that I would actually bring with me on the day, set up the scene, and because everything's done to scale, when I enter AR mode, I go ahead and I pan around till it sees the ground, I tap the ground, everything drops into place, scale that sucker up to normal size and life size, and now I, as a filmmaker, can walk around my actors. I can check out the scene from over here. Oh, what's it look like over here? This angle is interesting. What about this? What would it look like if I change and do a zoom lens? And I can figure all that out ahead of time. Now, some of you guys might be more run and gun and you don't have the time to do this kind of thing. But once you really start taking filmmaking seriously, having that ability to previs and to basically shoot your movie and shoot these, especially a difficult scene, all the way through once like that is completely invaluable. Like, this blew my mind. And as you can tell by my flaring nostrils right now, I am just super excited about this. This is something I've dreamt of being able to do since seeing James Cameron's Avatar back in 2009. Because when he was shooting Avatar, he had a fake camera, essentially like our phones, it was just a monitor, that let him see his 3D world and interact with the actors in 3D and the sets and everything like that. And now we as independent filmmakers have this available to us. And it's just absolutely crazy. Taking AR a step further, we can also go ahead and performance capture our actors to get the right poses that we need. So as you're going through the pose library, if you're not finding what you're looking for, bring in an actor or a wife or a relative or whoever you can find, some guy off the street, pay him $5 or buy him lunch, say, hey, can you pose like this for me? Can you do this? Can you do that? And then now you capture the pose just like that, and now that is what your character is going to be doing from here on out. It's the freedom that it gives me as a filmmaker. I don't know, I'm super excited about it, and I'm really excited to use it on my next short film. I can absolutely guarantee that this is going to be a huge part of my filmmaking process moving forward. So once you've storyboarded out your scene, you've got it all laid out, you know exactly what you want to do, you know what all your shots are going to be, now you need to email and print the stuff out in order to use it on set. And Previs Pro lets you export either as still images or as a PDF file. You can do single frames, you can do multi-page frames, you can do, my personal favorite one is having your frame here and the overhead diagram of where all your lights go in the scene, where the actors need to stand, where the props are, where the camera is, because it's all done with real world scale and data. Everything's gonna match up. If my virtual camera is 15 feet away from the actors and I'm shooting on a Super 35 sensor at 24 millimeters, the way I see that in Previs Pro is exactly how I'm going to see it when I'm on set, 15 feet away with a Super 35 camera shooting at a 24 millimeter lens. And so those camera diagrams are extremely helpful and a really neat way to speed up the workflow on set. And again, the huge advantage here is that you're playing in pre-production and not wasting other people's time when you're on set at that point. If you want to take your storyboards a step further, you can build an animatic or a board-o-matic essentially by exporting your storyboards as a series of still images, bring those into your editing software. I like Avid, you could also use Resolve, and go ahead and start timing out your shots. Now you're playing with everything in the span of time and saying, okay, this shot's gonna be this long, this one's gonna be this long, this one's gonna be this long. Do a table reading maybe with your actors ahead of time. Now you've got some voices you can drop in and cut in. They actually did this with Sky Captain in The World of Tomorrow. Brought in the actors, recorded the table read, and used that to get a very rough temp cut of the film. If you've seen any Disney and Pixar movies, they're doing the same thing. They take their storyboards, they cut them together into a Videomatic that works with the actor's dialogue, and then they start refining it from there, dropping in the CGI and the real shots afterwards. So if you really want to plan ahead and really would give your movie a chance of being successful, this is something that I'm gonna start doing now on literally every film that I work on, because it's just that cool and it's just that powerful. So if you guys are now as excited as I am and you want to check out this new way of visualizing your movie ahead of time, head over to the link in the description below. They'll take you to the website for Previs Pro, learn more about the app. Furthermore, they are also currently offering a 1-month free trial, so use that link to get 1 month for free. Try it out, and most of all, let me know what you think of this app in the comments below. I'm El Director, this is El Director Vision, and you've been watching Indie Rebel, Hollywood Effects without the Hollywood budget.